Yes, I'm huffing and puffing because one of the biggest evenings in Africa's footballing history lies in wait. Ghana, Uruguay, do or die for pretty much both sides, but especially Ghana. They have to fight Uruguay, the side that stopped them from reaching South Africa 2010 World Cup semi-final to get to the round of 16. And Cameroon have to triumph against five-time World Cup winners Brazil to get to the round of 16. My name is Tira Swayaki. This is KBC Channel 1. When you see me holding this, speak. Patrick Nagy to my immediate left and Bernard Udipo to his immediate left. Before we dwell on what lies in wait, let's have a look at yesterday. Japan scored a very controversial goal, perhaps the most controversial goal in this World Cup. Did that assist come from a ball that had crossed over the line?
When I looked at it, within that flash of a second, I thought the entire ball had crossed the line. But when it came again now on the VAR and the aerial cameras out there, it showed like there was a bit of an inch that was touching in onto the line. But I would rather trust my earlier vision, whereby I saw a flash of green, which meant the ball had crossed.
So the ball was pretty much something
just
like
about there, exactly.
And it has to cross over in its entirety.
In entirety, yeah.
Let's listen to Odipo.
We embrace technology. So technology is what FIFA has introduced into the game. If it works, it's better. We are still haunted by the ghost goal by Lampard against Germany. And that's why technology came into place.
Yeah.
According to me, technology worked, and Japan got what they deserved.
Fine, that's technology.
Indeed.
What did your naked eye show you?
Well, like Nagy said, the naked eye showed that the ball was completely out because we could see the line clear. But really, when the sphere is drawn and the line is drawn, the ball is not entirely out.
What a night that was for Japanese football. I don't think they've slept a wink in Japan. Beautiful, unexpected. They
Not
turned it
unexpected.
around.
Not unexpected.
Go on, tell us.
Look at Japan and Germany. Same thing, 0-1 trailing. And they come back from the dead and scored 2 goals. That was Germany. Then again, you're talking of now the other big brother, Spain. 1 goal leading, 2 goals down Japan, and they come back into livelihood. There's one thing I was talking about earlier on when we started about the Japanese ability to come back from the dead. And I was talking about the Pearl Harbor, the US in the Second World War. And I was talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And you see what the Japanese were doing. They would see an American ship and you just sacrifice with your plane, just go in and ramp into the ship, kill all the others. They have that ability of coming back from the dead.
Okay, that's brilliant. But the Germans also emerged from the ashes of the First World War, which was initially known as the Great War, until the Second World War happened. And the Germans still emerged from that, from the very ashes itself. How comes this time around they were not able to borrow a leaf from Nagy's book of re-emergence and emerge?
Well,
football-wise,
I think in this group football, you just have to do your business. And you have to do your business early enough. So I think they failed in doing their business early enough. They did it at the last minute, but they were dependent on many other factors. When it gets to that point, it's not in your hands anymore.
You remind me what I've been saying and saying and saying again, because it was first said by Boniface Ambani. This is not a league. It's a tournament. Do your business
early enough.
From the get-go.
Yes.
So you're pretty much echoing those sentiments. That's brilliant. I think that's the difference between a league and a tournament. You only have 7 matches if you get to the final, that is. Well, Spain were on the brink of going home at some point. If Costa Rica beat Germany and Spain lost to Japan, that would have been the craziest night in football history, to be honest. Spain and Germany going home, truly the group of death.
Yeah, would have been very, very, very sad for them. And okay, look, when you look at Germany, it started very poorly. But I still have a string of hope of maybe see them get out there.
With the same coach, Hansi Flick?
Yeah. They'll do corrections later.
They'll do corrections. Do you think Hansi Flick should stay on?
I like longevity when it comes to coaching. It's good to give someone a chance. But I also think Hansi Flick made a mistake in his team selection. To me, the World Cup is where you choose the best personnel. Who do you bring to the World Cup? That is what matters most. And he had a whole country to choose from. And he left some very critical people.
He brought in Mula.
And I feel that is where he failed. But I think he should be given a chance to make a better selection. Maybe he's learned from this one.
Yeah, but you see also, there is that toughness and resilience of a coach, because everybody is a coach. And especially when the game is being played, everybody just says, oh, he would have done that, he would have done this. But normally, look at Southgate, what he did. They didn't want Maguire coming into this World Cup, yes? They said he was burnt out. But he held into himself, and Maguire didn't let him down. Look at Rashford. The 2 goals that he scored, he had already gone to the Ambers.
It's not only Germany who've gone home. Belgium have taken the flight home as well. Roberto Martinez, is he to blame, or is the squad to blame? They're old. I mean, Lukaku had chances, didn't take them away. Who's at fault here?
I know Nagy will stand on the coach's side of the line, being a former coach.
Typical,
but let me correct this one. I think Martinez, having stayed with that team long enough, is the failure in this case. I will echo De Bruyne's words that this is an old team to win the World Cup. So if De Bruyne feels that way, it means Martinez took too long to replace some of the key players. Again, it's about personnel. Who are you bringing to the World Cup? If you have everyone to choose from, we've seen the same faces for nearly 10 years in that national team.
Nagy?
The German machine, of course they call it the machine, but at times the machine also needs greasing, which is what they don't have. If you look at a team like Spain, they have very, very many young players. Japan itself has so many young players. But the Germans are
Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium. They've really hung on to old guys, and I don't think they are very sharp. And you can tell when the ball is on 50-50 situations, the younger guy gets there before the older guy. And you could see, even the first match, it was so dull. Actually, I give it a score of about 40 or 45% in terms of ball possession and playing and attacking. So a time must come, and you must realize that everything or age has to come at one time or the other. There are times to say, thank you so much.
So when did you retire from coaching yourself?
Now, coaching, I did retire when I was in AFC Leopards.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you officially retire?
Coaching.
Okay.
Then I moved to technical. I became the technical director.
Okay.
So I came back to administration, but coaching you can never really recover.
Exactly.
Because at all time, especially when you're a technical director, you have to keep talking to all the coaches, under 15, under 17,
exactly,
and the senior team. You are out there with them all the time.
This is one of the oldest hands in Kenyan football, and he's still at it. You've heard it from his own mouth, the horse's mouth itself. 70% of the current Kenya Premier League coaches passed under his hands as players. He's seen it all. And before them, there was another generation that had passed under his hands. So when he talks, don't take it with a pinch of salt. Take it wholesomely, and then you can critically review it for yourself. Bernard Odipo himself is a former footballer, and he played at a time when Kenyan football was alive and doing well. So when he talks, please listen in. Mexico have also left the tournament. Mexico. They've been regulars in this tournament, and 2010 they brought in a very young side. They got to the round of 16. 2014 they got to the quarterfinal. One would have thought, wow, this nation that hosted the World Cup final in 1986 and in 1970 is the future of CONCACAF football. But it's turning out to be the States instead. Why?
Let me okay, if you like,
Carry on.
Let me like the point that you mentioned, CONCACAF. I think for the longest time, Mexico was a monopoly of CONCACAF. Many countries in CONCACAF, Canada, the USA, and the country in Central America, were not really keen on this football thing. They were not really keen. But
Canada's,
now, they were lukewarm about it. But now they've woken up, and they really want it, and they want to win it. They've invested over time. If you look from the US 94, the USA have really invested.
Women's football, men's football.
They have naturalized players from other countries to play for them, and so is Canada. So that has really improved CONCACAF as a region, and that takes away the monopoly from and the ability to view Mexico as the representative of CONCACAF like it used to be. The monopoly has.
Patrick Nagy, you've trained in Brazil, and Mexico may be CONCACAF, but there's a lot of Latin influence in them and that sort of thing. Latin, Spanish, a lot of South American influence in Mexico. But in terms of football, I still believe in Mexico. Do you?
Well, I think I believed in Mexico in the days of Iker Casillas. If you remember that goalkeeper.
Iker Casillas was Spanish, played for Spain, won the World Cup with them in 2010, won, I think, 2 Euros with them, 2008 to 2012. Mm-hmm. But Jorge Campos, I think. You're confusing with Jorge Campos, the short guy. Yeah, colorful, flamboyant.
Colorful. But like Nani has said, you see, in those days, America wasn't a lot into soccer, they were into American football. Then Canada wasn't even there either. And when things changed and America got into soccer, now they're really out there. I mean, watch them. The next World Cup is America and Canada.
And Mexico are co-hosts as well.
Yeah, they're all co-hosts.
Yeah, the three of them.
All three of them.
North American countries.
So you can see how much they are into it, and they don't want to leave it. And like Odipo has said, yeah, they have even cohabited so many foreigners into their country for the sake of playing football. And it's really paid the dividends.
So do you still believe in Mexico? Mexico.
Yep, I would have, but when they performed, just like Belgium, I had a lot of faith in Belgium.
Me too.
But until I saw the first match and I said, that Belgium question mark.
Yes.
And that's about it. That's about it.
CONCACAF, you've touched on the States, Canada and everything, but do you still believe in Mexico?
They have work to do. They have work to do. And the beauty about World Cup is in 4 years' time, they can forget this World Cup and start the rebuild. That's the most important thing for them to do right now.
They weren't that bad, though, generally. At times, you need a bit of luck in football, don't you? Or luck counts for nothing?
I don't really think they were outrightly good. They didn't have that.
The flair. Yeah. They weren't there. They weren't able to possess the ball 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 passes in one entwinement.
They had a wonderful goalkeeper.
But they didn't have an X factor. You couldn't look to them and say they're outstanding. There was no X factor in them. And Mexico, like you say, is a team that has always been outstanding. Yeah, if you look at Javier Hernandez, there were players who you knew could finish. If you look at Mexico's placement in the world right now, they don't have serious football players in serious teams.
No.
So that seriously means they're struggling. Unless you have serious players in serious leagues, then we can start considering you.
Yeah, but when you have a country, and that's why West Africa and these other people are able, even South America, they are able to play and continue playing because they don't play their local leagues. They go into Europe. You are playing for Real Madrid, you're playing for Man U, you are playing for Juventus and all that. So when you come back now as a team, it's a solid team that has a lot of strength in itself and a lot of belief and conviction. But consequently also it becomes very difficult for the coach. If the coach is not up to the norm, then the house start crumbling.
But that's a good problem.
Yeah, it's a better problem.
Spain learned a lesson yesterday. It could have been worse. Very expensive a lesson. Will we see them now bringing out their true Spanish flair in the round of 16 and possibly beyond?
I didn't mind the thing, but there's one element. Ball possession is good, but it's only good when it becomes positive. When you're possessing the ball not only in your own third or in your own half, but in the final third out there, and then you are able to convert the opportunities. But they want to hold the ball to the 6 yard of the opponent, then come back again. That is baby football.
Okay, we'll take a break for now, and then we come back, and I'll resume huffing and puffing because Ghana, Uruguay lies in wait, and after that, Cameroon, Brazil. It's do or die for Africa. Heavy traffic in Nairobi. Everyone's rushing to go watch KBC Channel 1 TV. Don't miss out.
TV nayo na taa hizo zote Ni nyanya zangu.
Huyu nyanya wako kwani ni tajiri aje?
Nasema nyanya zangu, yani tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Hebu tena nionyeshe. Naona unapata pesa na mavuno tele. Siri yako ni gani?
Natumia Elgon Thabiti Super Fertilizer.
Ya Elgon Thabiti Super NPK Horticulture Planting kwa upanzi wa mimea ya nyanya, na upandilie na Thabiti Super NPK Horticulture Top Dressing Fertilizer. Thabiti Super NPK inapatikana kwa viwango tofauti na kwa bei nafuu.
Yes! Yeah! Yes! Yes! Yes!
With Glovo, you have anything you want from your city in your hands. Kama unatamani ugali beef ama fried chicken, order Glovo ujaribu restaurant mpya. Tamu kama game inawaka na unataka drinks zaidi. Order Glovo ushangilie timu yako. Na kama your little one amemes na diaper zimeisha, order Glovo and save the day. With Glovo unaweza track order yako na kuongea na customer support which is always available. Download the app and order anything you want from your city. We'll deliver.
Utavuna ulichopanda, utavuna.
Utavuna, 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 utavuna.
Safari hii kawa yangu haikuniangusha.
Hapa mkubwa utapata pesa.
Kwefezi nitalipa yote.
Na pia kamshahara mkubwa usisahau.
Na usisahau pesa yangu ya chama.
Sawa.
Na nikuulize mkubwa, ulitumia nini kwa hii kahawa yako ikazaa hivi?
Nilitumia Elgon Thabiti Super Fertilizer.
Elgon Thabiti Super NPK 22, 612 and 17, 17, 17 blends provide all essential and additional micronutrients for your plantations. Elgon Super Fertilizer is your surest partner in successful farming and is available in various packages that suits your pocket.
Feel the excitement. Relish every moment. Get 1.5 GB at 50 bob. Valid for 3 hours. Furahia Futa. Dial *544 hash. Make Chaguo smarter na Airtel, the most affordable network.
o'clock. Football in the house, KBC Channel 1 TV. My name is Tiras Wayaki, Patrick Nagy to my left, and Bernard Odipo to his left. Biggest night for African football, quite possibly, because Uruguay, Ghana face off shortly. And after that, 10 p.m., Cameroon, Brazil. It's football. Crazy, crazy, crazy. And it does get crazy. Uruguay, Ghana, that one feels like it's time for revenge for Ghana. Sorry to be petty, but it's a historical fact we can't overlook.
Yeah.
2010, Ghana were on set to qualify for the World Cup semi-final. But Luis Suarez of Uruguay, and he's still in the Uruguayan contingent right now, stops the ball. He's not a goalkeeper, an outfield player, stops the ball with his two hands by hitting it away from, and it was goal bound, and he's right at the goal mouth. It had beaten everyone there was to beat. Suarez did what he did, got the red card, matching orders. And Ghana, the subsequent penalty, Asamoah Gyan struck the woodwork.
Yeah.
And that was it for Africa. Time for revenge?
Yeah, and bitter thing about football, you don't surmise, you don't say he was the last man and he had beaten the goalkeeper can, and therefore it was going to cross the line, so we take it to be a goal. No, it actually must cross that line for it to be a goal, and that's why it was given as a penalty,
yes,
which turned up to be very, very expensive for Africa, because especially that time, 2010, Ghana was a very strong side, and if you remember when they played even West Germany, they really pushed West Germany in the 2010 World Cup. So the first time that Africa was going to have its muscle was that time, and had they qualified for the semis, definitely being in Africa and the whole of Africa was going to be there.
Andrea was part of that team, and he's now the captain of Ghana. So he feels that pain. He feels that bitterness. The year before that, he had actually won the FIFA Youth Under-20 World Cup, of course with Ghana. And he also won the Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations that very year with Ghana. That pain is definitely there. Odipo, is revenge an issue here, or it's a non-starter?
Whether we like it or not, if we can't run away from the fact that the ghosts of that World Cup linger over Ghana in this World Cup. But I think they should move above it.
Yeah.
Yes.
They have a business to do here. They have business to qualify for the round of 16. Uruguay is also set to qualify. Uruguay needs a win, actually. The only team qualified from this group is Portugal with 6 points. Ghana is second with 3 points.
Yeah.
South Korea has 1 point and Uruguay has 1 point. If, and this World Cup has shown us that any team can win any match, if South Korea beats Portugal by more than 2 goals, things can get complicated to Ghana if they don't win their match against Uruguay.
Yeah.
A draw can suffice for them depending on the result of the other match, but we don't want a situation where you want to depend on another team to do your business. So Ghana must forget the hand of, I don't know if it's hand of God, is it hand of God?
Hand of devil.
Hand of devil.
Whoa, it's getting hot in here.
Yes.
Okay, Ghana must forget the hand of Suarez and move beyond that, and know that they have a business here to qualify. Africa's hopes are resting on them. We are about to make history as a continent. We are about to have 3 teams moving into the round of 16. So, and they are that team. Cameroon has a mountainous task of qualifying. So our hopes lie with Ghana.
No, I tell you, even Cameroon, there's one thing. I was trained in South America, and there's one thing they do respect Africans for. First of all, the physique, endurance, to overcome the game until the 90th minute. So the only thing they beat us about is technique, tactic, moving and everything. But for them, they know today the match between them and Cameroon is not a walk in the park.
Obviously.
And we hope, again, the coach does not make the mistake the Spanish coach did, where you bring in all 9 or 8 or 10 players into a game situation, because every win gives you a morale. But once you start losing, then you start shaking in, and there's a lot of this and that. So once you start winning, extremely win, only when you're leading by about 3 or so goals, then should you bring in the other now older players or the players on the bench to come and hold on the base and protect the other players from being injured like they did for Rashford? He did everything. He scored 2 goals, but he was told out. Why? To save him for the next match.
Obviously, we're looking a lot at Ghana, and we might forget Uruguay. They're a good side. They're not doing too well right now. They have old players in key positions who perhaps should have left by now, but are still there. But the potential threat that they are, you reminded us the other day that South Americans are very streetwise when it comes to football.
Oh, yeah.
And when we mention Suarez, we remember that more than anything. Can we really say that this is not strong Uruguay, and so there's no reason to worry?
No, Uruguay knows they have a tough night tonight. They know they have a tough night because Ghana by itself is in a position to overcome the situations and win the game. For me, I don't look like Ghana. Actually, if you give me the chance between the two, I support Ghana more. Not just because I'm African, but I looking at them the way they are playing and looking at Uruguay and Edson Cavani and looking at Suarez and all that lot. I think a majority of them have gone past their sunset days. And I would give Ghana a chance to win.
Are we writing off Uruguay here? Because we know this side pretty well. They can do a counter-attack of 3 guys only. Header, game over.
They have intent to win this game. I'm seeing the way they're lined up. Suarez is starting today.
Yeah.
So that tells you they have all intentions to go for goal.
But I hope he doesn't bite anybody.
He's largely been on the bench.
If you look at their midfield again, they have Benkacha and Valverde, 2 very good midfielders. Unfortunately, sometimes in football you have 2 people who have the same abilities, and that cancels the other. That is maybe their undoing in this World Cup. Again, if you look at Ghana also, they're going for goals. They have Abedi Pele's sons, both starting, Kudus on the other side, and they have Inaki up front. It shows you also they are going for goals. And we've witnessed that Ghana in this tournament has been the free-scoring African country. They came into this World Cup, the underdogs of underdogs. But actually, they were the first African to score, and they've scored more goals than any other African country. So they're the free-scoring country in Africa at the moment. So their scorers, they're good up front. And today they start with a lineup that has intentions to score. And that's a good thing to see. Because they can sit back and say, we want a draw and depend on the other match.
Yeah.
But they've not done that.
Okay, but talking about that,
this conversation can go all night long.
No,
on and on and on.
I just wanted one touch.
One touch.
Cameroon.
One touch.
And what has happened with their goalkeeper?
We'll talk about that later, but behind the scenes we'll carry on talking about that.
Okay.
It's time to go to Qatar, and we don't want to keep Kenyans waiting and people from other nationalities. But our director has been kind enough. We respect our elders in Africa. So, one touch. Carry on.
Now, it's where you leave your job and you infringe into somebody else's work, because the head coach, is in charge of the team in totality, and nobody has a right to come in there. But you find a situation whereby Eto'o gets himself involved with the team, and actually, eventually, he sets the goalkeeper home. And we are still in the middle of the tournament.
Yes. Andre Onana.
All right, yeah. I think that was a very bad thing, because our chairman, our presidents must learn to stay there not on the technical bench, but stay out there. But because Nani feels that he was a very good player and great player, he comes into the dressing room, and the goalkeeper says, look, this is not your position. Please go there. We'll meet you some other time. This is an in-house thing about us and our technicality, our abilities and inabilities. But instead, what happens? He sacks the goalkeeper and sends him setting. I think that is one bad blood.
Then it can wreck the team.
Exactly.
A small crack and the house starts going.
I knew as a coach you'll take a coach side.
Come on, Africa! Come on, Africa! Come on, Africa! Come on, guys! Come on, Africa! Come on, Africa! Come on, Africa! Come on, Africa! Cheer on Africa tonight! We're doing. Come on! Come on, Africa! KBC Channel 1 TV. See you at halftime. Go Ghana! Good luck, Uruguay.
I was going to protect my coach.
I know.
But what Danny did was horrible.
This is it.
And it's the same thing I didn't want to make.
With Glovo, you have anything you want from your city in your hands. Kama unatamani ugali beef ama fried chicken, order Glovo ujaribu restaurant mpya. With Glovo, unaweza track order yako na kuongea na customer support, which is always available. Download the app and order anything you want from your city. We'll deliver.
Discover a world full of opportunities, a place to build your skill and see the world in a different perspective. Sensei Institute of Technology is the home to the best practical courses. We offer courses such as plant operator and mechanics, trailer driving, CCTV and alarm installation, solar and electrical installation, motor vehicle mechanics and electronics, building technology, roads and construction, hospitality courses, and many more. For you to join us, ensure you have a national ID card and be ready to enjoy the ride.
Remember, my skill, my future at Sensei.
Sensei College, my skills, my future.
Yes! Yeah! Yes! Yes! Yes!
Chuma ya dosi ni chuma ya nguvu. Ikisimama kwa building, hakuna kitu baya ita happen kwa hiyo building.
Chuma ndio nyumba. Nyumba zetu zote tunatumianga chuma ya dosi.
Doshi Steel, chuma ya nguvu.